Joining us now with their analysis is political historian and Elon professor Mark Dalhouse, who joined us on Monday evening as well and is now here again as this breaking news unfolds.
Professor Dalhouse, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
President Biden has had to address the nation today in response to the Russian invasion and the latest breaking news that unfolded overnight. He has first described it as a premeditated war. He has also described it as a catastrophic loss of life and human suffering. With that said, when Biden does address the nation, what do you think he needs to say, and why is this important for our generation to understand right now?
Sure. Well, I think one thing that President Biden has done admirably up to this point is that he has managed to keep the Western allies together, NATO together. I think that's going to be key moving forward to present that united front. I think that if I were helping the president write his remarks for this afternoon and thinking about you all, thinking about students, I think I would emphasize several things. One is the fact that the ramifications from this action are going to spill over and into all of our lives. We all are going to be looking at increased fuel prices, increased food prices in the coming days. We don't know what this is going to mean for the markets. This is an era of instability, and it's likely to get worse before it gets better. I think that he needs to prep the nation for that. For students in particular, I think, and for Elon's students, I think again, and as I said Monday evening, thinking about how you all have come through a curriculum and it's been infused in your classes and in your co-curricular experiences about us being a global university, about thinking about being part of something larger than we are on this campus. And in that regard, I think one, it's vitally important for Elon's students to be aware of what's happening, because this is not happening in isolation. This will affect all of us. All of us have an interest in this. This is potentially a fundamental reordering of the world's security apparatus that could be really significant. And so in that sense, the fact that it will affect all of us. I think also in terms of all of us being active citizens and of voting, making our voice heard as our government undertakes these policies. This is our power. This is where we come in. This is what we can say about these issues. And it's a precious right, and if we've learned nothing else lately, it's that we can't take those rights for granted. They were hard earned, and it's going to be hard to keep them. And so I think that that's very important for all of us to remember moving forward.
Sure, and we've seen statements from some of these European leaders as things have progressed overnight and as tensions have kind of heightened in Kyiv and in different parts of the country here. What do you think this global reaction is kind of going to be in the coming days headed into the weekend? Yeah,
it's judging from just over the overnight hours, it so far has been very united. I think it's from the West. I think it's also significant that at least as of this morning, China has not had much to say about this. And Putin was just in China a few weeks ago. And so I think that is significant. But I think that at least the Western leaders that I have seen or heard, they've all been united in condemning this action and in calling for a return to peace. The UN Security Council had an emergency meeting last night. President Biden's meeting with his national security team this morning will address the nation this afternoon. I mean, this is unfolding in real time. By this evening, it's liable to be quite different, underscoring the need to be aware of what's happening, what's going on.
Do you think the global response is enough right now? I mean, we just talked a little bit about how nations are condemning this invasion. Yep. There are already reports of casualties. So, is the globe sort of doing enough and doing what they need to do to sort of keep the peace?
Yes, I think insofar as what practically we can do is being done, in my opinion. I do want to say one thing that I think will happen as a result of this, which we will not set into motion, but which will happen as a result of Putin's decision. He has made a decision that is going to result in the Russian people suffering as well. There are going to be Russian families who lose their loved ones fighting this war. They are going to suffer as well, innocent people in Russia, so as well as our Ukrainian friends. And so I think that those things are going to come back home to him. And in that regard, he has set into motion the consequences that I think will also, in the end, I hope, will stem what he has begun.
Well, Professor Dalhouse, thank you so much for giving us insight into this situation as it progresses.
Thanks so much.